What's up, everybody, and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, your weekly podcast where we meet a new person of the internet to discuss their childhood with gaming and how it inspired their lives today. My name is Mitch Power. Again, thank you guys so much for returning each and every week to the show. Hopefully you have subscribed on iTunes or Google Play, or you're checking us out on YouTube, which if you're checking us out on any of those podcast methods, or YouTube, whatever, I appreciate it. This week on the show, we have our guest. Her name is Kaylie Woomer. I met this lovely lady on Twitter. She has been very much an active person in the Kind of Funny community. She's been on Sean Capri's podcast before, so I've asked her if she wanted to share her stories of gaming with me, and she was very nice enough to come on the show. If you guys want to be on the show just like she was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. Without further ado, let's get things started with Kaylie Woomer. Do you remember what initially got you started playing games? Do you remember if it was a family member? Was it a friend? Was it some awesome kiosk at a store? Do you remember what initially got you started?
Yeah, absolutely. So when Pokemon Yellow came out, my grandpa is fucking really hit or miss with gifts. He will give the best present for like a birthday or Christmas, and then next holiday comes around and he'll just give you a box of random bullshit. It's weird. And for some reason, even though I hadn't ever expressed any interest in it and it had never come up, my grandpa got me a Game Boy Color for my birthday. And he took me to EB Games, because at the time, EB Games were everywhere. He took me to EB Games and he's like, pick out 2 games. And I have this memory so vividly. And on the shelves, they had Pokemon Yellow, because it had just come out, and then they had Pokemon Blue next to it. I was like, oh, obviously I'm going to take both of them. And my grandpa's like, you're going to buy the same game? You can pick any game, and you're picking the same game twice? I'm like, no, they're very different. See, this one, I'm going to be a Pokemon trainer. This one, I'm going to be Ash Ketchum. Like, they're very different. And I remember my grandpa not wanting to buy me Pokemon Blue because it was a Game Boy game, and I had a Game Boy Color. And I remember the person at the EB Games counter explaining the concept of backwards compatibility to my grandfather. I think, like, no, it's okay because, this console can play these older games. And it was so surreal. And so I had my Game Boy Color and 2 Pokemon games for the longest time.
Yeah, by the way, very different. That's very different loosely. Like, I had the same thing though. Like, my son wanted to get Sun and Moon, and I'm like, what games do you want? And he's like, Sun and Moon. I'm like, why do you want both? Like, they're Sun and Moon are literally the same fucking game. There's like 15 Pokemon in there that are different. Like, why do you want both? And he's just like, well, when I beat one, I'll just go beat the other. I'm like, all right, kid. I mean, that's you. So, yeah, I mean, what's crazy is I wonder what initially got him interested. Like, what got your grandpa thinking, like, a Game Boy? I wonder if he just saw a bunch of other kids your age.
It was literally it was just like, that's his thing. He always tries to guess what the kids are into. So sometimes he nails it and sometimes he fucking doesn't. Like, one time he got me a Crystal Nativity scene for Christmas. And I was like, why would I even want this? And then it's awkward because I'm like, I'm an atheist. Like, it was so weird. He's not religious. Like, I don't know why he thought.
Wow.
I don't know. But he just thought, I was like, I don't know, maybe Kaylie would like this. And, like, he rolls those dice so fucking hard. It's crazy.
It's good because, like, when he hits. When he misses, he really fucking misses, it
yes,
sounds like.
It's so good.
That's hilarious. Good. Like, yeah, again, like, I feel bad for my grandma because I was definitely one of those kids that, like, I knew exactly what I wanted, and she wouldn't even fucking try to guess. She would just go, what do you want? Like, just fucking tell me what you want and I'll get it. But I felt bad because, like, every year I was into some different shit. So there'd be one year I'm like, I'm into video games. And then the next year I'm into basketball cards. And then the next year I'm into fucking yo-yos. And my poor grandma was probably just like, I know what he wants for Christmas this year. And she's like, so you still like this? I'm like, no, that's stupid. Who the fuck's into that still? And she's probably just like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. What do you want this year? So, yeah, I never had any guessing gifts though, but
I still get guessing gifts every year. It's my favorite. Yeah, it's actually nice now because now my grandfather and I have this like routine where for all of like for my birthday and Christmas I get the Beatles Yellow Submarine memorabilia and a couple of vinyl records from his personal collection. And it's just like, awesome. That's all I need. And so like now we've established a balance where it's like, and he throws a bunch of random tchotchke shit in there still, just like a bunch of garbage. But like, I know that I can count on getting something Yellow Submarine related and some good vinyl. Like, at least I have that.
That's really cool. And I mean, it's always good to have those relationship with those, you know, like as long as you have that steady thing there. I mean, it's funny just because one of my grandmas was basically my go-to for video games just because she never questioned any of the shit I asked for. Like, I wouldn't ask, like, I would ask my grandma for a game and she wouldn't go, well, that's fucking stupid. Video games are dumb. She would never do that. She would just go, all right, well, whatever
he said.
And I'd ask for something from my other family and they'd be like, the fuck out of here. That's stupid. No, I'm not buying you games. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess not then. So, so initially Game Boy, and you just powered through Pokemon. Were you just one of those obsessed Pokemon kids? Did you get bed sheets and shit?
I was like, I'm going to play Pokemon Yellow first because it's the newer game. And I was in second grade at this point, so don't fucking judge me. But nope. I was like, I'm going to play Pokemon Yellow, and I'm only going to play the game with Pikachu. I don't want any other Pokemon. And then I got to Brock's gym.
Yep, and you fucked
with
up.
Nothing like a Pikachu, with nothing but a Pikachu. And I would go right below Brock's gym, and I would just grind and grind. And I got to like a level 27 Pikachu before the first gym, just so I could fucking like quick attack all these rock Pokemon
I was gonna say,
and ground Pokemon, and it was just a disaster. And so like I was so frustrated and fed up. I was like, fuck this game, and I put on Pokemon Blue and I never went back. So I never played farther than that in Yellow.
Oh wow.
To this day, never have. I was so like angry as a child. I was like, fuck this was a waste of my goddamn time. I did the same thing with Final Fantasy III when I played it on DS. The very first battle with that dragon you're supposed to lose, and I would be like getting my ass kicked and be like, oh, I must be underleveled, and I just grinded until I could literally hurt the dragon so much that it auto cutscene to killing us, and I was so pissed. I wasted like 15 hours of my life because I was like so certain. Like, I hate dying in games; it just gives me such anxiety. So I was like, I'm not gonna let my party die, and I'd reset before they could die. So yeah, I don't learn. I do not learn.
No, it's right. I was gonna say that was a bad choice for Yellow to have like Brock. I mean,
it was rough.
It's really rough, especially when, like you said, you tried to go the one route. Like I think I've tried that before in Pokemon, where I'm like, I'm just gonna go water, That's all I'm gonna do. And then I get to that first grass place, and I'm just like, I'm getting my dick kicked in the dirt right now. I'm getting just destroyed, and I'm like, I didn't diversify. I fucking put all my eggs in that water basket, and I fucked up.
So rough.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that's when you start learning and shit, and that's when you gotta start doing that. And yeah, I'm trying to think of games that the only game I've ever said fuck this and never went back to, and it sounds bad because I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, is the 3DS version, because I put some time into it. I was playing it, and then I came home and my son was playing on it, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, playing. I'm like, okay, cool. What game are you playing? Kingdom Hearts. Can I see that real fast? He fucking overwrote my like 25-hour save file. So immediately,
I
was like, nope, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'll just go to YouTube. I'm not going to do this. I'm done.
I was over 60 hours into my Persona 4 Golden run on Vita when my boyfriend at the time closed out without checking if I saved and then wrote over my save file. I ended up finally going back to it years later, and I'm like 10 hours in on my Vita, but I still, like, every time I go to play it, I just remember that feeling of my I was so far in that fucking game, dude. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, it was the worst.
Yeah, I mean, at least, you know, here's the thing, your boyfriend, you could be like, what the fuck, man? You know, you know what I have to do to a 6-year-old? Go,
it's okay.
It's all right.
But that's what I did with him too, because like I didn't want, because like it was an accident. I could tell he felt bad, so I was like,
okay, as long as he felt bad, like, as long as he wasn't a dick about it, like.
Yeah, he thought because like I had like the first 6 save slots, and he had like the last 6 save slots that we could both play.
Sure.
And he was just saving too quick, and he went to go down to the last save slot and hit it too far, and it went back up to the first one. No. And so like he was like, "Let me save, and you can have it." And I looked at him saving over my save slot, and I was like, have you been saving on that save slot this whole fucking time? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, so it's my main save. All the other ones were like old, like,
Previous, yeah,
yeah,
old ones,
exactly,
right.
like super old, and I hadn't been rotating them. If I'd been rotating my saves like I usually do, I wouldn't have been so fucked, but no, I'd been putting all my eggs in one save basket, and it bit me in the ass. So, yeah, Persona 4 Golden, I've watched the animes, I've read the wikis, I'm a fucking expert at.
Like, we're
I've
good.
previously never played, the end of.
Yeah. And it sucks because, like, even if I go back and play Kingdom Hearts for 3DS, the story doesn't make any fucking sense anyways. It's so goddamn cool. It's just a mess. Like, I love that series. I do. Like, I have a scroll right there for 2, and it's such a good game, and I love it. But then after 1 and 2, they went all fucking wonky, and I remember watching a YouTube video trying to explain the whole everything. It's like 25 minutes long, and then afterwards, I'm like, I might have to watch.
It's so needlessly convoluted. Like Organization 13 as a concept is pretty cool, but they found all these unnecessary ways to make it so convoluted and just like extra as fuck. And it's just like, I have such very strong good memories of 1 and 2, and like when the collection came out, I played Birth by Sleep. So my thing was like, I played 1 and then I didn't play 1.5 because I was like, I'm not gonna play these side bullshit. I'm only gonna play the numbered games. And so I waited for 2 came out, played it, blew my fucking dick off, even though I was like, oh, it sucks that I kind of had to play 1.5 because half these characters I'm supposed to know, and like we meet them in this other game, so that sucks, but I can figure out what's going on, it's cool. And then I was like, alright, cool, I'm gonna wait for 3. And so like, side game came out, and side game came out
12 years later.
Yeah, and side game came out, so like, I've never played any of these side games out of like fucking weird principle. So when the collection came out, I said I would buy and play Kingdom Hearts if a collection including every single game that I needed for 3 came out. And so when that did, I bought it because I'm, stick to my word. I played Birth by Sleep, and I was like, okay, the maps are really small and shitty, the graphics are garbage, the story makes no sense. I'm like, but it was a fucking PSP game, so I have to remember that it's ported to a console. So then I started playing Kingdom Hearts 1. And I remembered going in that Alice in Wonderland's world was really short. So I wasn't like, so I was like, it's even smaller than I thought it was. But I remembered it being small. And then like every other world I was into, I was like, this is really small and full of annoying loading screens. And then I was like, I remember Halloween Town blowing my dick off as a kid. Like once I get to Halloween Town, I'm going to fucking see some cool shit. Right. And then I got to Halloween Town and it was just muddy brown, hard to see. And I was like, I'm ruining my childhood memories, and I turned the game off and I sold my collection copy because I was like, I'm like overwriting my beautiful memories of this game as a child with the harsh reality of what it really was.
Sadly, I talk about that quite a bit on this show because a lot of people have that memory, and in their head, games look better and they were way more awesome, and then you go back and play them and go, what the fuck?
I never go back to play old games. Like, I'll never play Final Fantasy VII again. I'll play the remake when it's beautiful and shit. But I will not play a fucking port.
Please go back and try to play Final Fantasy VII, and you'll be like, Jesus.
It's so ugly. Oh my god. It's like Lego people.
Yep. Well, actually, no. Lego people, even the Lego video games look better. Like, they look fucking...
Well, I mean, not the nice people. Yeah. I feel like if fucking kids made a video game by taking pictures of Lego people.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like you just sandpaper to your eyeballs and just fucking stare at the screen going, Jesus Christ, look at this. But yeah, I mean, like I said, sometimes that happens. At least certain games, though, I think, like, if you go back and play a Pokemon game, they're fine because they're not trying... to be 3D.
You're not wrong. Yeah, like I would play Pokemon Crystal right now and have a great time. That's a very good point. Pokemon is definitely a game that you can go back to. It ages well.
Those Game Boy era games though, like, and again, I think it's like that Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, like just that style of gameplay. As long as it's not trying to be 3D, just the 2D art style and shit. Those are all still hold up. They can still play and they're still fine.
Cell shaded games hold up really well too. Like the Full Metal Alchemist PlayStation 2 games, those games still look good. It's weird.
Fucking Wind Waker HD looked
ridiculous. Oh my God.
Like it looked.
And I'm
really
a huge Wind Waker fan, so like, that's what got me to buy a Wii U.
Nice.
I got the Wind Waker.
Honestly, I think that's what a lot of people like. That Mario Kart Smash.
Yeah, I only played that game and Mario Kart on Wii U. That was the only 2 games I ever played on it.
Right.
And I collected dust for like 2 years, and then I sold it.
Yeah, but so you followed the whole. That's the Wii U game plan, right? Is buy it, play 2 games, and get rid of it because there's nothing else that was out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I sold all. Like, thankfully, Nintendo games hold their fucking value actually quite well. Because
I got almost retail price for my fucking Wii U when I sold it years after it came out. I was shocked.
Yeah, it's really weird. I sold all my shit and got a Switch, and I was like, didn't have to pay like really anything out of pocket. I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know. That thing was a hunk of shit, but it still sold really well, so can't complain about that. So, did you ever? So obviously you had a Game Boy Color. Did you ever like go past? Like, were you just a Pokemon kid, or did you actually venture out into other things? Like, did any other games pique your interest?
So this is where it got kind of weird. So until I'd say probably in the last couple years. So like when Dragon Age Inquisition and Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls came out on PS4, until that time, I was what I like to call a like gaming voyeur. Like, I would play video games with my friends all the time, and I'd be like, my friend and I would play single player RPGs, but like she'd be playing and I'd be like looking up on game facts, like to make sure we don't miss anything and like helping with decisions and stuff like that. And I've always been like co-pilot playing games, but like with my boyfriends, I'd be like, I don't want to play Mass Effect, I don't like playing shooters, play Mass Effect, and we'd make the decisions together and stuff. And like, that's how I enjoyed experiencing games for a long time. And a lot of that is because like growing up, I was like, you know, super like, you know, only child, single parent. And to me, like video games were just not necessarily like a boy thing, but they were just like a people with expendable income thing. Like, I couldn't bring myself to be like, oh, Mom, can you buy like a $60 game for me?
Sure.
When I could be like, oh, hey, Mom, can I spend like $30 and get 3 books? I read all the time as a child, so I didn't really play a lot of video games besides Pokemon, because I read and I go to the library and get books. And that was before like video games were really at libraries and stuff like that. And so then once I got older and started getting disposable income, like for my 6th grade graduation, I got money and I was like, I can buy a Game Boy Advance. And I bought a Game Boy Advance and Pokemon Sapphire. and it was so cool. And so then I was like, oh, awesome. And so I started like, you know, I got a SP. I had a PlayStation 2 and a Nintendo 64. And so I was always like playing older games and stuff like that. And we would go to like, you know, not the Blockbuster, we go to like Family Video.
Yes.
And you could,
Shout out to Family Video in the Midwest.
Right? Okay, good.
Fuck
yes,
yeah, Family Video.
You go to Family Video and you can rent games and you can even rent consoles. So like before I bought my PlayStation, I would just like rent a PlayStation from Family Video and a bunch of games. And that's how I discovered like Disgaea was a game just sitting on a shelf. I didn't even know it was super rare at the time, but it was just like they somehow got a copy of it. And so like I was really into anime and stuff as a kid. I did like Anime Central and conventions and stuff like that. And so like my friend and I would go into Family Video and just look at all the covers for the PlayStation games and pick whichever ones looked the most anime. Like,
yeah, I mean, well, there was a lot of them back then that looks very anime.
Exactly. So like growing up, I played a ton of JRPGs because JRPGs had the art style that I wanted to play. So like that's how I kind of veered into the genre that I now kind of have a weird mastery of.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah, like I think also too though around that time, like JRPGs were just fucking abundant. They were just everywhere. Like PlayStation 1, it felt like every fucking week there was like something new. And also too, like those video stores, they didn't know shit. Like they just got, and the thing is, to be honest though, is that a lot of people didn't know shit either. Like, you know, a lot of people didn't realize how good those games were or how rare those games would end up being. So, like, you know, you get some of those video games that are like, holy shit, you had this. It was worth so much money. And the fucking video store is just like, I don't know. Nobody's rented it in 6 months. Why the fuck would I think it's popular or rare or whatever? Like,
I went to actually go buy a copy of Disgaea. And so I walked to the GameStop and they're like, oh, we don't have that. And I'm like, well, can I get one? And they're like, it's really hard to get a fucking copy of Disgaea. And I'm like, really? So then I went to Family Video and I was just like, hey, I'm going to buy this copy from you guys. Here's $5. And they're like, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And that's how
again, they're just dumb video store people. They're like, whatever. Dude, yeah.
Like, no one, you fucking rent it every week and no one else plays it, so I don't fucking care. Like,
yeah, exactly. You're the only one who rents it. Why not? Fucking I remember there was one situation where a customer came, because I used to work at Game Crazy, which I'm
nice.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I worked at Game Crazy, and there was a guy who came in. It was me and my brother-in-law who was the manager. Guy came in with like Suikoden, like a super rare game, and it was perfect. It was like fucking big box PlayStation game, not the small CD case, like big box, complete manual, everything. And the problem is that Game Crazy never based trade-in prices off rarity, ever. So if you traded in Final Fantasy VII, we would give you $5 for it. But again, we would give you $5 for a lot of shit. We never saw, but the thing is, also to its credit, Game Crazy never sold a game for ridiculous higher amounts either. They would sell Final Fantasy VII for $20. Like, they didn't base it off rarity ever. Whereas GameStop would give you $5 and sell it for $75. Fuck you guys. But, guy came in and literally we told him, like, please do not trade this in here. Like, please go on eBay now and fucking sell this. Like, we were at least trying to be cool and, like, not dick the guy over. And then he came back and he's like, dude, I sold that for, like, $150. I'm going to spend all that money here. And I'm like, at least you're cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, people didn't know what the fuck was rare back then. And that guy came in willing to just trade it in. And I looked at that trade-in price and I was like, no, I don't fucking feel moral, like, doing this. Like, we're going to give you fucking $5 for a game you're selling for over $100 on eBay. Like, no, I'm not going to fucking do this. So, but yeah, like, I mean, people don't know. People, you know, Family Video, like, you said Family Video. They're still around in Illinois, which is the
they are. It's the fucking best. I was so mad. I thought the Family Video by my house was like a family-run video store. I didn't realize it was a chain. And then I was driving like an hour from my house and passed a Family Video, and I was livid. I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? I have to do some Googling. They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the betrayal. The fucking betrayal.
I feel that way with certain places, but then I'm also really sad places aren't everywhere because I miss Beefaroo a lot.
I'm getting Beefaroo. I'm driving up, specifically driving through Rockford, so I can get Beefaroo. I keep a Beefaroo salt shaker in my car. That's a true fucking story. Sometimes I'll go to I'll go to Steak and Shake and be like, oh, can I get an order of fries with no salt? Just put some Beefaroo salt on there. It's the closest you can get to Beefaroo fries.
Yeah. Everybody's like, what the fuck's Beefaroo? Google it. Knock it off. Quit. Get your fucking life together, people. Beefaroo is amazing.
So good. And it's like a fast food restaurant run exclusively by like 35, 40-year-old pleasant middle-aged women.
Yes.
Like, it's like a bunch of moms run a fast food place that makes delicious fast food. Like, it's so stupid.
And
I love
cheddar fries. God damn it.
Their French fries are on cocaine. They make this homemade Caesar dressing that's amazing.
Yes.
Oh my! It's all so good.
See,
I've been craving.
You're closer. I'm fucking 1,500 miles away. Like, I'm way far from it. But everybody has like those different things, those different memories from their hometown. So whatever. I'm jealous you're gonna get Beefaroo though. I'm not.
I'm jealous for future Kaylie right now. I'm like, oh, that fucking bitch! I want that. Like,
I wish I had it now.
Yes. It sounds so good.
So, I mean, like you were saying, for the longest time though, you weren't really playing game. Like, you were kind of the co-pilot and everything with games and stuff. And I get it, the whole, you know, the disposable income thing. Because you're right. Like, I didn't grow up. I grew up in Rockford. What does that tell you?
My mom was pissed when she found out when I was older. She was like, I could have fucking bought you that. Are you kidding me? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, she was obsessed with, like, I don't know. I always just assumed we were as poor as fucking humanly possible. I was like, we're not fucking poor. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're poor. And like, we would like fucking argue about it all the time. So she was so mad. She was like, are you kidding me? Like, you stop not asking for things because you assume we can't afford it. It makes me feel bad. Like, there's a whole
in a way, it's very responsible of you, because you could have been the opposite if she didn't have money and you were that kid that's like, oh God, you're such a terrible parent. I can't get this.
I didn't want to worry about that kind of shit. But yeah, now my mom, whenever she hears, like, if she listens to like a podcast like this, just bless her heart, she does. If she listens to some of it, she always just, like, real pouty. She's like, God damn it, Kaylie. I wish you wouldn't tell people that. We were fucking poor. And I'm like, I don't care. As a child, I just felt like we were.
But I mean, at least, but your parent, like, your mom was cool, though, with you playing games and stuff. Like, she wasn't, was she accepting of it?
Yeah, so, like, and it really actually colored a lot of my interest, like what genres I like. My mom's only rule when I was a child was she finds games where you simulate killing other humans to be disturbing. She does not like Call of Duty. She doesn't like any, like, she's like zombies, aliens, monsters. I don't give a fuck. But she's like, I find it disgusting that, like, simulating war as if it's a game. Like, she just does not feel cool with that.
Fair enough.
And, like, now she's just so fucking over it. My 14-year-old brother loves Call of Duty. He plays it all the fucking time. But, like, when I was a kid, she was like, can you just please not play that? And now she's, I guess, kind of loosened up in her old age, like everyone does. But that was always her rule. And, so it really colored my perspective. And I was like, I couldn't just, like, take time. I was like, well, how do I justify that? And, like, to this day, I've never had, like, a great justification for, like, yeah, it probably is affecting things like why our fucking military budget is always so high and why the glorification of war and guns is so bad, especially among white men who are the type of people that typically play Call of Duty type games. So, like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there that I have a hard time justifying it. So I was like, instead of having this moral quandary, I'm just not going to fucking play it, you know?
Right.
And so, like, I never got into shooters as a result. Like, the first shooter I ever played was when I bought Overwatch last year. That was the first time I'd ever played a first-person shooter, and I've never played a third-person shooter.
Right. I think, like, I mean, games are different. Everybody has their own different take, right? I think the fucked up thing is we're more worried about sex than we are violence, which is, like, in the opposite of everywhere else.
Yeah,
right?
that's
like,
also true.
That's kind of weird, because, like, that's the one thing. Like, my son will ask to play certain games, but also, too, I mean, it's also... My mom was in the same way, where my mom would be like, I don't want you watching Power Rangers because I don't want you fucking doing karate moves on your sister. And I'm like...
Oh, no, I loved Power Rangers.
Yeah, fuck yeah, right? By the way, don't go back and watch those.
Oh, man. I did. Are you kidding me? They were, like, airing on Twitch.
Yeah, I know they were, but
Oh, my God, they're amazing. Fuck you. Oh, my God, they were so good. They're so bad. Like, you know, they're so... If you like old, like, Speed Racer with the bad overdub.
Yeah.
Or, like, old Godzilla movies. Like, you'll fucking love old Power Rangers.
Okay,
no,
let me phrase
like...
that. If you look at it, like, yes, it's so bad it's good.
Yes.
But again, back then, we were like, this is fucking Oscar-worthy shit. This
Go
is
watch
amazing.
He-Man. That animation was made for a fucking nickel. Like, that shit was garbage. Like...
Yeah.
But kids, you just eat it up because you're stupid. Like,
exactly. Kids are dumb and they like dumb shit.
Oh my God.
But no, like my mom was very much like trying to not have me see. I don't want you playing Mortal Kombat. And I'm like, Mom, I really know that you cannot rip a heart out of a person's chest that easily. I get it. She didn't want me watching South Park. She didn't want me watching, but I mean, I think it's just also depending on maturity level of your kid. Obviously, your mom has reasons for her own parenting, right? My mom was, like I said, trying to keep me from shit. And then the thing she didn't realize is that I could walk around the corner, go to Gary's house and fucking play the worst shit on earth.
And see, that's where, like, my mom was very much like, my mom never really limited my access to things. She was more like, she has conversations with me. So it was always like, I don't really feel comfortable with you playing this. I wish you wouldn't. And I was like, that's fair. I respect you as a parent, so I'm not going to do, like, I was playing, like, South Park. I fucking loved South Park as a kid. My mom to this day cannot stand South Park, and she hated that I watched it. But she was never like, you can't watch that. She's always just like, Kaylie, do you really have to fucking watch that show? Yeah. Like, it's so bad. And I'm like, I think it's funny.
Right. Yeah.
I'm 13. This is my humor now.
Yeah, basically. I was the same thing with Beavis and Butthead. My mom, like, I had to sneak watching Beavis and Butthead because my mom would get, like, super pissed if she found me watching it. And I'm just like...
Mama also hates Beavis and Butthead. Same, like, genre. She's like, it's just fucking mindless. So stupid. Like...
Yeah. I mean, no, what's bad now is some of the kids' cartoons now are entirely mindless. Like, there's no... Like, I'm sorry, but, like, cartoons still, like, back then, like, fucking... Cartoons like Ren and Stimpy or Rugrats, I'm sorry. That shit is still... There are still episodes of that. They're still
I still watch
funny.
Rugrats all the fucking time. It's on Hulu now, and I just watched every episode that Hulu had. I'm not ashamed. I love Rugrats. I used to exclusively eat Rugrats macaroni and cheese. Oh, my God.
Did they have was it Reptar mac and cheese?
No, well, they had Reptars, but it was Reptars, and then they had Tommy's, Chucky's, Phil's, and Lil's. And they were shaped like them. Don't fuck my mom hand made us fucking Rugrats stockings. Like, I still have the ornaments I got when I was a kid are Rugrats ornaments. I was all about Rugrats as a child. Awesome. Like, that was my fucking jam.
By the way, did Nickelodeon have any other shows? Because I think they played Rugrats like 12 hours a day. And then the rest of it was Nick at Night.
Like, I was huge into Nickelodeon, and I loved Nick at Night, but I did also love Adult Swim, and so that's when I would kind of venture over to Cartoon Network. So I, like, a lot of my, like, peers spent a lot of time watching Cartoon Network, but I spent a lot of time watching Nickelodeon. Like, that was my thing. So yeah, they had, like, fucking Hey Arnold and Cat Dog and Angry Beavers and fucking, Nick at Night. I watched a lot of Nick at Night because I stayed up late as a kid. So I would watch the Brady Brunch, I Love Lucy, Gilligan's Island, just like Mary Tyler Moore Show, Rhoda, like Taxi.
Fucking Rhoda.
Fucking Rhoda, man. Like, dude, I loved them.
How funny is it now that Nick at Night is like Full House, which was in the 90s, and fucking Friends? I'm like,
I'm so triggered every time fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air comes on Nick at Night. I'm like, you know what? I am not Brady Bunch old, okay? This is horseshit. Like,
that happens.
You should at least play 80s shows. Like, remember when they used to play Three's Company?
Right. Yeah, you could play, like, something from the 80s. Play something. But, dude, you were playing 50 shows when we were younger.
Black and White, I Dream of Jeannie, and now all of a sudden you're in the early 2000s. Yeah, Bewitched was so good.
Fucking such good shit. Yeah. Everybody needs a crash course in that shit.
Which I prefer to when it's switch to color, but... Yeah, like, that was my shit, you know, whatever.
Did you ever, did any franchises, like, back then encourage you to play any of the games from that time? Like, did you ever play a Power Rangers video game or any of the Rugrats shit or anything like that?
Yeah, so it's going to sound really weird, but my mom actually, like, if I had followed the path in life my mother had set out for me, I'd probably have become a PC gamer sooner. Because, like, my mom came home one day, I don't remember when this was, the PS2 was already out, but it was still the fat PS2. And she had bought a PS2 and a new PC for the house. And she was like, the PS2 is for your stepdad and the PC is for the family. And then she bought me a bunch of, like, Nancy Drew PC games. I had Monsters, Inc. Scare Island. That's a great fucking game. And I had, like, all the, like this dual disc Schoolhouse Rock thing where, like, one disc was like a bunch of games and one disc was like every Schoolhouse Rock video ever. Right. And I fucking got down on Schoolhouse
fucking
Rock.
CD-ROM shit back in the day. That was like it.
3D mini golf, what's good? And so, like, I played a lot on the PC because my mom, like, was like, oh yeah, you play the PC games and, like, boys play the PlayStation games. And so I did play a lot of, like, so yeah, I still to this day love Monsters, Inc. because, like, I just happened to have this random movie tie-in game of Monsters, Inc. and, like, I loved it. And then just, like, so my mom has never been really into gaming with two exceptions. The bitch loves Tetris. When I got my Game Boy Color, I found out, right, my mother actually had an original Game Boy that I didn't know she had until I got my Game Boy Color. The only game she has for it is Tetris. She still has it. It's upstairs. And she just loves Tetris. Like, whenever I would buy a new console, I always buy a copy of, like, whatever Tetris is out at the time for it, just in case someone wants to play. I don't think she literally ever has. I had one for PS2, I had one for GameCube, like, I don't think she's ever actually played, but I always buy one. And her other thing is, she fucking loves Tomb Raider. Like, I don't know why, but my mom fucking loves Tomb Raider. And so, like, when the new Tomb Raiders came out, that was super exciting. I was like, look at how pretty it is now! Like, because I remember, like, playing, like, the first 2 or 3 Tomb Raiders with my mom.
Right.
And just, like, you go back now and you look at what they looked like, and it's just
they're trash,
so
but
bad. Like,
and the tank controls where you're just, like, standing upright and turning and
yeah,
it's fucking weird. But again, man, back in the day, that was the shit. That was it, man. Like, it's so funny that you bring that shit up because I had an NES at my grandma's house. What games did she play? Tetris and Dr. Mario. That's fucking
oh my god, yes.
That's it. That's all she wanted to do. She didn't give a fuck about anything else. She's like, no, Tetris, Dr. Mario. And then my grandma, like my great aunt, we called her Nana. I remember, like, she lived in Texas. We'd visit Texas every year and during the summer. And I remember going over there, and her boyfriend at the time, who was an older dude, like, they're in their 50s and 60s, all of a sudden had a fucking PlayStation. And I'm like, okay, like, why do you guys have this? And what game did they have? Tomb Raider 1 and 2. And that's it. And I'm just like, God. Okay. Like, again, it's so odd that you bring that up because both those games, like, older adults just, like, fucking clamored to, and I don't know why. But
I have no fucking clue. Or, like, when we had a Wii, my mom fucking loved, like, Wii bowling, as they do.
Every goddamn person loved Wii bowling, though. Like, everyone. Fucking 900 years old. They didn't give a shit.
Yes. So, of course, that was another one that got my mom into the gaming sphere a little bit, but that's as far as she's gonna go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, to this day, it's funny, I've mentioned this before, I've never seen my parents really play video games, like my mom or dad. I never really saw them play video games. However, for some reason, there's a picture of my dad playing Super Mario Brothers in my grandma's living room with my uncle sitting there, and I'm like,
when the fuck did this happen?
Where the fuck was this dude when I was trying to play Mario and shit? Where was he at? Like,
oh my God.
I was just like, that's super strange. But yeah, after that, like, they never really played games or anything. Like, I had sisters that would play games occasionally, but I mean, whatever. They were just not as into it.
Yeah, same with like, important franchises. So, like, when I was a kid, during the summer, I would go over and get babysat by my uncle, who was only 5 years older than me. So, like, I'm, like, 10, he's, like, 15. Right. And so it's just, like, we're just hanging out. And so he would just be hanging out in his room playing Final Fantasy VII. And so he had just started the second disc when he started babysitting me. And I would just sit there and I don't know. They were welcome, because I was the easiest kid in the world to fucking babysit. I just sit on his bed and watch him play Final Fantasy for like 12 hours. Like, whatever, feed me, I don't care.
Yeah.
And so, like, he ended up starting to not play it until, like, I came over and he was watching me, and so that way I could see him play through all of Final Fantasy. And so I have a lot of very specific memories of that game. Like, I started at the beginning of disc 2, so I didn't see Aerith at all. And so, like, my uncle had given me this rundown about, like, what I missed in the first disc, and he's like, yeah, there was some other chick there. She was kind of lame, but she's dead now, so whatever. And that's all I knew about her. And so, like, when people talk about, like, oh, the most tragic moments in gaming, or, like, people excited she's in Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, I don't know. I just remember her being lame and then dying. Like,
I was more
so, like,
pissed.
I have this, like, bias against her.
Right. I was more, well, you got it second hand, though. You didn't experience it firsthand.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, I never had that connection to that moment that everyone has. I'm like, I don't know, Tifa seems pretty fucking cool. Why do we need this other bitch? Yeah. She seems superfluous. I didn't miss her. Like,
I mean, the thing is, like, that's pretty much anything you get secondhand. If somebody told you some of, like, the saddest shit in stories, you'd be like, I guess. Like,
right? Yeah.
To convey it and, like, get attached to it.
But no, I've lived it now, and I still, like, I've never been able to develop this emotional attachment to that scene. I'm always just like,
I was more pissed that I spent all these hours leveling her up and then that bitch died. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, what the fuck, man? But
hope she didn't have anything good equipped.
Yeah, exactly. But I was just like, oh, I guess that's what happened. Yeah, that was another save file that got deleted. But thankfully, I had, like, beaten the game already. So I was cool. And then I went through a second time and it got deleted. But God damn it, that's all right. So one thing that I have a question on, because I don't have many female guests on the show, did anybody ever give you shit playing games because you were a girl?
So,
because I fear every fucking day for my daughters that some dude will say, you don't know shit about games because you're a girl, and then I will have to go to jail for murder. So,
that's taken too. That's the thing too, is like, because I'm very confident, like, I know what I'm fucking talking about. When I'm streaming, like, Dragon Age, don't try to front me with Dragon Age knowledge, because I will school your ass. So, like, I've always had that very, like, studious mindset to it. So I've never, like, and I'm not one to pretend like I know something I don't either, and I don't take it that serious. So, like, have people tried to, like, maybe even unintentionally just, like, mansplain shit to me? Yeah. But is it ever, like, that serious where no, it's like, hey guys, like, I know what I'm talking about, and I guarantee I know more than you, so just, I got it, trust me. And, like, I don't know, I don't really sweat that, but, like, when I was like, in middle school is when I really started playing video games a lot. My best friend and I were, we were girls. And so it was like me and my best friend would just walk to GameStop and we'd just, like, kind of look around and, like, pick out what we wanted, and, like, no one really fucking hassled us or anything.
Right.
So I never really experienced that until, like, I remember finding out the PS2 was getting an internet port, am being terrified. I just imagine this world where like all of the games were online and you had to talk to other people and they were strangers and like you had to have an internet connection all the time and it was just like a fucking hellscape for me. And so I have never, again, one of the many reasons I'd never really gotten into shooters, I never wanted to like had any interest in like getting together with strangers online. So like even when I play Overwatch, I will not play unless I'm basically playing with a group of friends and my mic is set to where only like party chat can hear me. So like people don't really know I'm a chick. Like I don't have a super girly handle or anything. Sure. So like even if they did, I can't hear them because I only have chat turned on for my friends. So like I've heard like a lot of my female friends who don't do like these things to self like censor themselves. Totally get that, absolutely. But I specifically have never wanted to deal with that, and unfortunately, like I've never felt like that probably won't happen. It's just it's such a bad culture that I'm like, no, that's probably gonna fucking happen.
That's so shit.
So I've never even taken the risk. To be honest with you, I've been gaming for fucking how old am I? Oh, that's embarrassing. Like almost 20 years, but.
I mean, the thing is, like, I just hope one day that my daughters won't have some dude straight up say the phrase, you don't know shit about games, you're a girl, which I think now is not as, I'm not going to say, like, I'm sure women get it all the time and that's shitty, right? Like,
I mean, I'm sure maybe that would happen, but I think everyone around them would be like, wow, dude, that's a really shitty thing to say. Like, he's not going to have a bunch of fucking defenders, you know?
Right. But also, too, I think also gaming now is not as, I mean, it's so universal now between everybody and every age group and everything, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's, hopefully my daughter's generation will be the generation where that shit doesn't happen. But I always fucking, like my daughter's, I have a 16-year-old who, it's funny because for the most part, she doesn't play games. Like she has an Xbox One. She has played games with me, but she really doesn't get into gaming until she visits me. And then she's like all about it because of course my whole house is all about it. So she shows up and she's like, you know, she actually last time she was visiting, she's like, how's Kingdom Hearts? I'm like, fucking amazing. What is wrong with you? And she's like, should I play those? I'm like, yeah, you should.
How's Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, no, well, because she sees all my shit in my room. And I'm like, it's fucking amazing. You should play it. And then, you know, other games though, because like she doesn't have a PS4, so basically when she comes here, it's like, what good games are on PS4 that I have not heard of or played?
Oh my god, so many.
And then, but yeah, I was like, she's like, how's The Last of Us? I'm like, fucking sad. Like, fucking really
so
fucking
good.
sad.
Oh my god.
But I'm like, you should really play it. And she played it.
That was another one where when The Last of Us was first coming out, they had just released the first 30 minutes, like that scene where, you know,
the fucking one of the saddest scenes ever, yeah.
Yeah. My mom was watching a preview, and when it showed the PS4 logo, my mom was like, oh my god, I thought that was a preview for a movie. That was a game. And I was like, Mom, are you ready to watch this? And she straight up watched that 30-minute fucking thing completely wrapped and was just like, that's what video games are now? And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's what video games are now.
They are.
And she was like, don't call me dude, I'm your mother. And I'm like, okay. Oh, she hates that. She hates it every single time. I can't help it.
But yeah, I mean, no, like that's, you know, that's the only thing is like, I swear to God, I mean, if I hear a guy say that to my daughter though, like, and that's the thing is like, I try to limit, especially my younger daughter, like I have a 10-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. My 3-year-old's not doing shit. My 10-year-old though, she plays a lot. Like of course she's playing kid shit, quote unquote. So she's playing Roblox, she's playing Minecraft, but she plays The Sims. She does the Minecraft story mode shit. She's been playing Fortnite, and I'm just like, for the love of God, if I ever hear anybody say some shit to her, I'm gonna turn into that dad who like grabs the mic and is like, you motherfucker, you better not be talking to my daughter. Like, I'm gonna absolutely turn into that dad. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that, you know, no dudes were ever like, you don't know anything. I'm very glad to hear that.
I mean, like I said, I'm not going to say that's never happened. I just never really cared.
Yeah.
But, I mean, are you asking, because, like, you're asking that question, but I think another question that you'd want to ask is, like, you know, how vocal have I been in the community? So, like, you know, as a person playing video games, like going to a store, buying things like that, like, yeah, it's whatever. But as a person who streams and is on Twitter and on Facebook and, like, how do people interact with me online? That's a much different question with a much different answer, you know? So, like, You know, there's a reason I don't check my fucking DMs very often because it's a dark place.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like.
God damn it. That's just so.
You gotta
so
ask the right
here.
questions to get the right answers. You know
True.
what I mean? Like, I'll throw you a bone on this one, but it ain't all fucking peaches and cream. Like,
right. I mean, because like now, well, I mean, now, I'm talking.
You know?
Now you're getting like. Yeah, the internet exists. But I mean, I just didn't know back in like middle school, high school, if there was ever weirdness.
Like IRL.
Then.
No. Like, it was actually really cool because I remember I was playing, in 7th grade, I was playing a bunch of games and, you know, my female friend and I were talking about some game and, a male friend of ours came up to me and was like, hey, you know, I've been hearing about the kind of games you've been playing and I think that there's a game you're really going to like. And he brought it to school the next day and was like, here, you can borrow it over winter break. I spent winter break beating Tales of Symphonia, both discs. And it was to this day on my top 10 greatest games of all time list. But literally, it was just a dude friend of mine was like, oh, hey, I heard you guys talking about like the kind of games that you're into, and I think this would be really good. And he obviously Tales of Symphonia is a great fucking game. So he knocked it out of the park. But it was so cool to have like somebody be like, oh yeah, here, play this game. And it was like the first time I think anybody actually ever recommended a game to me. And I fucking lived for it. It was so good.
Were you sad to give it back, or did you beat it?
Oh, no, I gave it back to him, and then I bought a copy, and I still have that copy myself.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, I just think...
Up here if I ever want to play Tales of Symphonia, and I have the deluxe PS2, or PS3 edition over here. I fucking love that game.
No, I just saying, like, because, I mean, like I said, now, obviously, the internet exists, so the worst scum of the earth show up and can say whatever, but, like, I just didn't know back in those times if it was, you know, if anybody was ever, like, outwardly vocal, like, blah, like that. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. I mean, like I said, I can't imagine the shit you get on Twitter or Twitch. I can't imagine it. And I don't, like, it's awful. And obviously no one should be doing that shit. And if you think that's fun, knock that shit off and stop listening to my show because you're a piece of shit. But, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, I personally, obviously, the reason why I do this show is because I want to get different perspectives of different everything. You know, I want to hear what people did growing up. And obviously, I'm not a female, so I didn't know how it was growing up, like, in that time frame and everything. Because, I mean, I knew females that, I didn't know of many females that played games as often as I did. But then there was a female who worked with us at Game Crazy who knew so much shit. And I was just like, that's awesome. Like, that's great that, you know, everybody has these different experiences. So I just didn't know, like I said, how it was for you and everything. But I mean, at least back then people were cool. Yeah, we can't judge shit though now. Just like, you know,
there's still a ton of cool people. Like, I love going to conventions. I love going to meetups and just like, you know, there's tons of super great people.
Yeah, you just gotta ignore the assholes on the internet. Just do that. And
that's how it is for anything. You know, there are assholes everywhere.
Right. Just gotta avoid them. Just find the cool people instead. So, and obviously, I mean, you continued gaming. Did you ever have a point in time when you really didn't do any gaming? Did you ever have a point in time where you're like, I have other shit to do. I don't really want to play games anymore?
So there was a period where like I had been streaming and then I stopped streaming. I moved across country and I had stopped streaming. And when I wasn't streaming, I didn't turn my PS4 on for like 4 or 5 months. And it felt really weird. And finally I was like, one of the many reasons that I started streaming again and like I decided to take it too seriously is because I missed having that like set aside time. Because I can be kind of picky in the genres I like to play. So a lot of times there'll be like a long stretch where no games that, you know, I like are new. And so having a dedicated stream where I'm like, all right, I got to find something that I want to play. Let's figure it out. And then I'm playing like, I played Night in the Woods a year after anybody else gave a fuck about it. Like, you know, I have the time to go back and do these things. So that's really cool. And it just like, it gives me like this reason to consistently play. So like in the last fucking almost year, like, no, I play 3 to 4 nights a week. But yeah, there was a big chunk and it felt weird.
Yeah, I can imagine. I had a good layoff of like 4 years, but that was because of skateboarding. So that's fine. No big deal. I still played Tony Hawk games because that was the only game I gave a fuck about, but that's fine. Have you, like, since then, I mean, so you kind of stuck with JRPGs, so obviously you were PlayStation, GameCube, that kind of stuff. Did you ever broaden your horizons? Like you said, like, for a while there, you weren't playing shooters because of your mom kind of like, hey, don't shoot humans. But I mean, have you broadened your horizons since? Have you like kind of expanded now to play? Like you said, you've played Overwatch. So have you kind of gotten into other genres lately?
Yeah, so I do fuck around a lot on Overwatch. I pick characters that like work best with my skill set because I'm to the point now where I feel like shooters have been in the populace for so long that everyone else's like base skill level is so much higher than mine that now like it's a multiplayer experience and everyone else is already just, even for a brand new game, way better at it than me. Like I don't even like, it's hard for me to remember what buttons do which, and people will be like, you go to play with them, and I'll be like, you just told me to crouch. How do I crouch? And it's like, oh, you're supposed to know how to crouch because everyone knows how to crouch on all the games. Because it's like with fighting games or anything like that. Like if you don't play them a lot, you're at a disadvantage no matter
what. That base level is just higher for people who have
exactly.
Had this. Yeah, it's just been ingrained in their heads that this button is always crouch or this button's always shoot or this button.
And like, they're better at being like, I can't use inverted analogs to save my fucking life or offset analogs to save my life. And people are just better at aiming because they've been doing it longer. And so like, I've never felt the desire because I've never like loved those games as much, to overcome that difficulty barrier. And so like with Overwatch, I play a lot of I play a lot of support, or I play like D.Va and like characters that have a lot of like, don't need to aim as much, Right. So I like Overwatch because it thinks of that in its playing. Like Call of Duty multiplayer might have, 18 different customization options for every fucking subset, but at the end of the day, it's very, very slight tweaks on basically the same fucking thing.
Right.
And my whole thing with games has always been, like, I came from, I was really, really into reading. I was really, really into anime and manga. And then I just, like, I loved how engrossing and enriched, like, how much world building can go into a game. So, like, JRPGs, tactical RPGs, fucking now Western RPGs. I do play Fallout. I play Fallout 100% with VATS. I never aim ever. But I do play it in first person. That was the first person game I ever played, was when Fallout 4 came out. So I just know I love like turn-based games. I just love anything that takes the time to really have a good story. I even love like Injustice and the new Mortal Kombat's because like I'm not the best at fighting games, but I can beat the fucking AI.
Right. Yeah.
And they've been really taking some time to like make these like really long, huge story modes, and I really like that. And so, or even the Persona fucking fighting games. I played those because I love the Persona series, and like it's a pretty decent fighting game, and also it has a huge amount of story, and it's Persona story, so it's great. Like, so like I'm always called to things that like have a good story, and that rarely spreads out to like crazy different types of genres, but when it does, I'll go there.
Right. Yeah, I think like certain games, I think honestly Overwatch is, I won't say it's I'll say it's the most entry friendly version of a shooter, period.
I really think it is.
It really is. Cause like, if you were to tell like somebody who's never played shooters, go play Titanfall, they'd be like, huh? Like, they just wouldn't understand. They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Overwatch is definitely a game, like you said, where you can play a support and just heal and just hang back and generally point in a direction and hit a button and it does things. Like
exactly. It was very kind of like good to like train my eye to be able to focus on all these moving people, to be just like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna be Mercy for a minute and just like take it all in. And then, plays even have this like kind of tank where you can get up in the front and kind of see what's going on up there and like take the time to like just get used to how that environment works before you really start fucking around with other characters that require a little bit more. Like, I fuck around with Moira a lot too. Like, now that I work more at like knowing the stages, like basic shit like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know the maps on some of the map things, and so I'm at a huge disadvantage because I won't be like, where's the fucking doorway? Is it here? And like I'm dicking around because I don't know where I'm going, and other people don't have that like, difficulty barrier. And it's just another thing where it's like, you gotta play more. I have a really bad sense of direction, so I have to play maps for a really long time before I get their layout in my head. So there are certain maps that I'm just really weak with because they really confuse me easily. That's a huge thing. Yeah,
I just think like that, and what's funny is just because you mentioned story as well, and Overwatch happens to have like the fucking YouTube videos where they just explain the characters, and
they're so good.
They're so good, and Overwatch literally has it dialed down like to a perfect, and it's funny because it's entry level, but also to get good, like really good, like Overwatch League shit is like next level shit. So it's just like. It's like super easy to get into, but then really hard to master, but then the story's really good. That's like, like almost in a way like your good game for like getting into the genre. And of course, like, yeah, it gets more complicated. Fallout 4, I'm right there with you. I won't say I always do VATS, but I've never done third person in Fallout ever. Like, I've always done first person.
I thought I was going to do third person because I'd never played in first person before. And, no, I do. I have about like 300 hours into Fallout 4.
Jesus.
And I played the whole, yeah. And that's the thing is that like,
Story.
I platinum Diablo 3. That was 600 hours for that fucking platinum. Like, Dragon Age Inquisition I just got, that was about 400 hours for that platinum.
Jesus.
Like, Persona 5, I platinumed in 200 hours, so that was better.
Better, sure. That's still
yeah,
because
like that's what I do. I will binge games. Like I beat Persona the first time I played it, 85 hours, 6 days.
Oh my god!
6 days, just playing constantly, and like I binge them. And so then I like, okay, cool. It's been a week. I've 100%ed that fucking RPG that was 200 hours long. Like, let's do this.
Right.
On to the next.
What's funny is
yeah.
like I was gonna say, how many times have you done those binge sessions? Because the only one I can think of off the top of my head was, it was funny when my daughter Kayla was born. I had time off work. I had a DS. I had Pokemon, and I put like 50 hours into Pokemon just in the hospital, just like hanging out, waiting, you know?
Yeah.
And, I was like, I didn't go to work for 40 hours, but I just played 50 hours of Pokemon. What the fuck? Like, that's insane. I didn't do 40 hours of work this week. I did 50 hours Pokemon instead. And I've done that before too with like just days off, like Far Cry 5, like just recently I had like a staycation because I didn't have a babysitter. So I had like 4 days off work, and I probably put 24 hours into Far Cry 5 in like 3 days. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? I could have like cleaned the house and done other things, but nah, like it's just, you get in a zone where you get into one game and you just fucking lose focus of everything else and just go.
It was like last Saturday, my guy was like, oh, you want to play some Monster Hunter? And I was like, sure, I'll hop on. I got time. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, it's like 7 hours have gone by, and we've just been fucking playing Monster Hunter. And I'm like, shit, the day's gone. That's it. It's over.
Right. That's exactly how I felt. I lately, as bad as some people will hear this, Fortnite, honestly, I don't know what it is. I fucking played one round of Fortnite, and I'm just like, this is actually fun. Like, I was one of those, it sounds bad, but I sounded like one of those snobs where I played PUBG and I'm like, Fortnite, they fucking stole all the ideas. That's bullshit. Whatever. No, Fortnite's fun as shit. It really is. It really
turns out spoilers.
Spoilers. It's fun as fuck. And I get
that
why
game everyone loves is good.
Yeah. Shocker. Every fucking person likes this game for a reason. So, last Sunday, I woke up early. I was just like, I'm just going to play some of this. It was like 8 when I started playing. And then I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to get some chores done around the house. It's like 5 o'clock. My fucking wife's walking in. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
my bad. Damn.
I'm like, kids, are you good? They're all just like, yeah, we're fine. We're hanging out. We're just doing shit. So yeah, I was just like, whoa, that happens sometimes. But you know, that's when you have fun. I mean, 600 hours though. That's a lot. Did you like go through each of the Fallout fucking storylines and like do everything?
No, so like I played a very, very, very specific quest order to where when I ended the game, I destroyed the Institute, and all 3 other factions were cool with me.
Oh, okay,
I didn't have to destroy anyone else. And so like I have to be very careful with endgame shit because like sometimes I want to travel with Paladin Dance, but if the Brotherhood sees him, they'll kill him on sight. But like, you know, so like I have to be careful with shit like that. And like, yeah, I played, you know, all the Far Harbor and Nuka-Cola and stuff like that. Sometimes I would just put the game on and just wander the wasteland because I just want to listen to the fucking radio. I love the soundtrack for Fallout. Yeah. And so I'd get home from work and be like, I just want to listen to some fucking Fallout music. And I would just pick a direction and walk until I found random shit because that's how Fallout works. And yeah, before I knew it, you know, 200-300 hours had gone by. Like,
Jesus,
whoops.
That's just like here's the thing though, is like I personally have put that much time into games, but usually it's multiplayer games because it's a lot easier to do it in those just because there's no end game. Like,
see, I don't like that because like I got to get my friends and we got to like match our schedules and like no single player. If I can just turn it on from the moment I get home from work until the moment I go to sleep and play it and not have to worry on anyone else's time, I'm there.
Yeah. I mean, like, I will say Halo 5, I got a lot of hours in, only because for about a year straight, me and my buddy in Illinois were on the exact same schedule. We got off work at the same time. Our wives weren't around at the same time, and every day for like a year straight, we played a couple hours a day. But yeah, like, again, like I get what you're saying though, the online side of things, because like some games you sure as shit cannot play unless you have friends on. But there are some games, it just depends on the game. That can be fun by yourself. But yeah, what's funny now is I was all about multiplayer online because I was online with my buddies. Becoming a dad and not having as much time to be able to dedicate to friends, I'm way more into single player shit now. I'm like, hey, and also here's the thing though, for me, because I don't want to feel like I'm accomplishing nothing, I like to find games that also aren't super duper long. Like the fact when they said Fallout 76 is 4 times bigger than Fallout 4, that was a turnoff for me. I was like,
oh no, I loved it. It can't be too big. As long as it's a good map system, because Witcher 3 isn't too big, it just has a fucking awful map system.
Fucking Witcher 3 is huge. God damn it,
It's huge, but it's not too big.
I played like 45 hours of that game, and then, again, here's the problem though. I'm one of those people that when I see a map and there's an X of something I can do, I want to go do it.
Yeah.
I did that for like 40.
You find like 30, yeah.
Yeah, I did that in 45 hours of fucking Witcher, and I looked at the map and I was like, this is useless. I'm not doing shit.
Yeah, I firmly believe the Dragon Age Inquisition is a better game than Witcher 3. But Witcher 3 has 2 problems for me. 1, the map sucks, and 2, you don't get any experience so close. Like if a quest is like 3 levels below you, you don't get experience for it. And there's so many quests that like you can start doing all the ones at your level, and by the time you're halfway through that list, you've leveled up so many times that now all these other quests you're not going to get experience for, so why fucking do them?
Right.
And so, like, it takes the reward away because there's so many quests that you'd be fucking crazy over leveled if they let you get all the experience. So it's like they accidentally broke their game, and instead of fixing it, they were like, well, you'll just stop earning experience way too fast. It's like, okay, cool, well, what's my incentive to do these quests then? Right. That was my problem with it.
Yeah, I played about 45 hours, and again, like, gameplay was fun, story was good, characters were good, graphics were good. But I just looked at how much I was doing and how little it put a dent in the map, and I was just like, yeah, I'm fucking done. So now if a game's like 8 hours, I'm like, yes, I can beat this.
8 hours is like, okay, cool, I'm gonna beat it in one sitting. So like, how much is it? Because you know what I mean. Like that's where it comes into play for me.
Right.
Because like I will, if it's an 8 hour game, maybe 2 days, maybe. Right. No, I'm just gonna sit down and beat it.
Well, you got the time and enjoy that time because, like,
right,
exactly. You're gonna have plenty of time to do shit. So speaking of gaming now, what are your gaming habits like today? You've kind of already mentioned it. You're on Twitch. You're doing streams, not just gaming stuff, but you are doing stuff there. Obviously, you seem to have a lot of time to play games now, so that's always fun.
I mean, I just don't do anything else, you know. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so I stream games Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and then I stream movies on Saturdays. But Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I play video games for at least 2 hours a day, so I have that like kind of set in stone. Sundays I usually play a little bit longer, but like right now, I'm getting ready to move, so I didn't want to start anything big. So I'm playing Stardew Valley. I have a really bitching fucking farm on PS4, but I'm trying to, like, I have over 100 hours in Stardew Valley on PS4, and so, like, I'm trying to get this PC farm to be, like, up to snuff, but I dick around a lot when I'm streaming, because I'm just, like, talking to chat and stuff, so it's not where it needs to be, and I got a Switch, and so I started Stardew Valley on Switch, and my Switch farm is, like, pro as hell. Can't wait to go co-op on that shit. Yeah, so like I cannot wait for multiplayer. But I just got the multiplayer patch for Stardew Valley on PC, and my farm is not where I wanted it to be when multiplayer came out, so I'm like fucking trying to hurry up and get my shit together on that. But then after that, I'm going to be playing Octopath Traveler, so I'm pretty excited about that. I played, before that, I was doing Detroit Become Human. That was a fucking emotional goddamn journey to go on with other people. Holy shit. And it was really nice because, like, I would not have played that game alone. It was so stressful to me that it wouldn't have been fun alone. It was made fun by, like, having other people there to, like, be, like, seeing chat get stressed and, like, being like, thank you, oh my god, I thought I was crazy, like, and seeing everyone else, like, get as emotionally invested, like, made me want to keep playing. So it was really nice playing a game that I probably wouldn't have enjoyed as much, and then I got my platinum in Dragon Age before then. So, like, I try to stick to games that are, like, more story-driven to where, like, I think that the whole reason that you stream is for the interactivity. So, like, I play games where where it's not like, I don't like streaming Overwatch because you have to focus so much on the screen. You can't really focus on chat and stuff like that. And there's nothing that, like, chat can really feel like they're taking a part in. They're just watching. Whereas, like, with Dragon Age, I'm like, all right, who we fucking this playthrough? Like, talk about this like a family. Come on. You know, mages or Templars, let's make a decision. And so, like, I like having that type of stuff.
I think, yeah, like, certain games like the Overwatch and stuff, I think only people that like watching Overwatch are people that are good. Like, if you're good at the game, then people are like, holy shit, I like enjoy watching you play that. But no, I mean, the streaming, the interactivity, yeah, you can't do that shit. Like, you can't be amazing at a game and watch chat perfectly fine. Like, yeah, people will either watch you to interact with the story of a game or watch you because you're fucking amazing at a game. And it's like one of those two things. So I think that's where I fell in the streaming side of things, because I was playing Halo 5 and I was just like, I fucking can't do both. Just can't do both. So
no, so I avoid. I was sad because I was like, I get kind of addicted to Overwatch sometimes, and like I was like, man, I wanted to play Overwatch so much. I was like, I don't want to stop playing it to stream. I'm just gonna stream Overwatch, and like I did it for a couple weeks, and every single stream I was just like, man, if I start paying attention to chat, I lose the match, and I hate losing, so I'm getting pissy because I'm losing, and it's not cute. So It's tragic because like now I don't play Overwatch as much as I could. Because I, you know, most of my free time, because like now I guess I shouldn't say I have a lot of time to game, because like now I edit a D&D podcast and we Twitch stream that, and we have a Patreon, and there's a ton of stuff I do on that end. So now it's like the days I stream I game, and the days that I don't stream I'm doing podcasting and editing and audio stuff. So I don't have time for Overwatch if I'm not streaming it. I miss it. It's been a minute.
Yeah, just wait till they come out with some cool skin theme. Because, by the way, it's the greatest idea that people have come up with lately, like timed exclusive skins. Because that shit happens in Fortnite and Overwatch and all these games now. So it's like, how do you make people play your game 6 months later? Have some badass Halloween skin and make them fucking come back and play all of October. So
yeah, and I do a lot of Diva cosplays. So like anytime she gets a new skin, I'm always like, ooh, is that a skin I'm going to want to cosplay? And so like,
that's awesome.
That's where I come from with it.
Well, if people want to check out you on Twitter or on Twitch or your D&D podcast, where would they go for all that?
So my Twitch is Quirk of Art, because I'm super punny, and, my Twitter and Instagram are Quirk of Art XD. Our podcast is actually called Slay. We're on pretty much every podcasting service because I have nothing better to do with my time. But it's Slay, a lady-led, tabletop podcast. We do Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's 5 girls. We're pretty cool. Quit the patriarchy. Yeah, that's all that is.
And if people want to check any of this stuff out, I will have it all links in the show notes for all of it. So if people want to check her out and see her, you know, cry about a game on Twitch or, you know, do a D&D podcast or anything like that, you can feel free to check her out there. So, dude, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing all your stories with me, and I really do appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, and again, thank you, Kaylie, for being on the show. If you guys want to check her out, you can go ahead and follow her on Twitter at QuirkOfArtXD. You could also find her on Twitch at twitch.tv/QuirkOfArt. Of course, I'll have links in the show notes for all of the above. She also has her D&D podcast, which is called Slay, which, again, I will have links there, so you can check out all the things she does. If you guys want to be on the show just like she was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. We also have a Facebook group. You can just search up Growing Up Gaming there. You can also find us on YouTube at GUG Podcast. You can just search that and you'll find it there. Feel free to subscribe there if you ever want to check it out. There will be more content there in the future. Right now, it's just the podcast that gets uploaded there, but eventually streaming some games, maybe some more video podcasts, you know, hopefully looking into more of that in the future. Of course, the website, gugpodcast.com. I've got it updated. It has been updated, so I've been talking shit saying I haven't updated in a while, but I got it updated finally. So, and again, thank you guys so much for returning. Feel free to leave me a review on iTunes. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Let me know what you think I can improve on. I'm definitely open to hearing any and all feedback. So, again, thank you guys for listening each and every week, and I will catch you guys next week with another new episode. See ya.